Country Chevrolet is countrychev.com. Online, worldwide. Brings you Carl's podcast. countrychev.com. Proud to be the studio sponsors of Carl's podcast.
This is Carl. Who's calling?
Joe Soucheray, returning your call, Carl.
Well, thank you so much for making the call back, Joe. How the hell are you?
Very good.
Well, good. I'm calling because I wanted, like I said on the message, I'm going to be doing a podcast. And I wanted to get some information from you, maybe help me out with the program.
Are you doing a podcast right now?
Yes, that's where you're calling the number is a podcast.
I see. Well, what can I do for you?
We're live.
Okay.
Oh, were you not? Do you want to start over, or do you want to pretend like we're not? We could do it. Well, I could bring us in like a good interview. Hold the phone. Hold on.
Please hang up and try your call again.
Go to the phones now. We got an old-time friend calling into the program. He's a mayor, and he's a good guy that knows a lot of people. He writes for the newspaper, if anybody reads that any longer. His name is Joe Soucheray. Welcome to the program, Joe.
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, we're real excited to have you here. It's kind of an interesting thing, you being a radio host, and now you, the interviewer, is being interviewed.
That's how you could look at it, Mr. Franklin.
So tell us about yourself, Joe.
Well, there's not much that's not known, Carl. I'm on the radio every day, and I write for the St. Paul Pioneer Press.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more to know about you, even if they do know you. For instance, have you ever done any drugs?
Not recently.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. We're doing a timeline thing here. A lot of people don't know about that you live in St. Paul and you have your whole life, right?
Well, not really, Carl. I lived for many years in the Phoenix area after I was born.
Wow. Nobody told me about that. It's not listed in the bio.
Right. I was born in Montana, and then shortly after that, moved to the Phoenix area, and then came to the Twin Cities in the early 1960s.
Okay. You got a few brothers and sisters?
I have one brother and one sister.
Okay. Are you close to any of them? They're still living?
I think so. I haven't talked to them.
Well, tell us, what was it like making your first $1 million?
It's always good to make your first $1 million. It felt like $1 million.
It's always memorable at that point, isn't it?
It is. It is. Carl, I'm surprised that you're up to speed on this podcast technology.
Well, to tell you the honest truth, I'm not. What they've done is they've done all the work for me, and they've got a lot of 3 or 4 buttons here that I need to push, and then I can answer the phone or I can look at the interweb, and then they do all the work. So
are we on the air right now?
Well, Joe, I don't want to get technical with you and tell you anything that you don't know, but it's not really on the air. It's over the interweb, see?
Oh, I see. People can tune in when they want to.
Yes, they tell me that it's destination listening.
I got it. Very good.
Yeah, as opposed to yours, when you're on the airwaves, you got to be there at the time you're there.
Right.
Otherwise, you're SOL.
Right.
Well, listen, I'd love to talk deeper with you. I know you just called back from the message I just left you. But maybe talking. Listen, the other thing you can do on the interweb is you can drink beer. And
no, I can't do that. I'm driving right now, Carl.
I know now, but I was going to say, why don't you come to my studio at the home that they built for me? I've got a microphone here. And you and I can have a drink, and we can talk about some other things like boats. And that was the real reason I called you, because I originally called your program about 15 years ago or so, as my neighbor told me that you collect old boats. And I tried to talk you into taking this boat that the guy left at my house. You remember that?
I don't remember that.
Wow. I thought maybe we made an impact in you over the years, that was our very first call.
Well, was there a boat? Actually a boat?
Yes, I left it in my lean-to, and I didn't want to bust a lock off the trailer to pull it out, and I was calling you to find out, well, hell, you put it on the radio, and all these people that know me, know where I live, they come down there, and we've come to an agreement with one of the fellas, and he took the boat. It was a Chris Craft.
Well, I'm sorry I missed it, but I don't remember anything about that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'm getting another call. This isn't very important. Probably put them on hold. I'm talking to Joe Soucheray.
All right.
So one final thing before we let you go. We're talking to Joe Soucheray here, award-winning columnist. You've won awards for that, haven't you, Joe?
When is this show on, Carl?
Right now, every Tuesday. And
every Tuesday you film one.
Yeah.
Record one.
Yeah, we put it together, and I was doing the first program here about what the show should be about. And
Is this the first one, Carl?
Yeah, very first one I've ever done.
Well, I'm honored that you've chosen me.
Oh, well, listen, I need to fill the time. They tell me I got to fill a whole hour, and I thought I'd go for the best. Over the years, you've showed me a lot of things and brought to light a lot of good topics that I've read in the paper and pontificate about. And so I thought, well, people would be interested in you, so why not have you on the podcast for the first one?
Well, I'll be glad to answer a few more questions, Carl.
Okay, well, that you've told me about your family, a little bit about your story. Listen, are you a homosexual, yes or no?
No.
Wonderful.
No.
And would you rather go to a musical or a monster truck event?
Neither.
Well, none of those interest you, huh?
No, they really don't.
Wow.
I heard about a guy once who was about 85 years old, and he was at a monster truck event, and he died when he leapt in front of a child to protect the child from a wheel that had flown off the truck. And I always thought that was a pretty good way to go, Carl.
Oh, you bet you're right. Noble way to go.
I thought that was a pretty good way to go out a hero like that.
Very tragic.
Yeah.
My final question to you, Joe, here before we let you go this time and get you back on. If you could go back into the video library of life and watch a video from that day, what video would you choose to check out in Heaven's Movie Theater?
Boy, that's a good question. It might be, those come up all the time, Carl. There's so many things I want to see in Heaven's Video Rental that it's hard for me off the top of my head just to pick one. Yeah, I'd probably go back to hear Joe Cocker and Mad Dog and the Englishman at First Avenue, whatever that used to be called. It used to be called something before it was called First Avenue.
That had to be back in the 60s or 70s, huh?
I believe so, Carl.
Yeah, that's interesting. That you're a musical guy, that's what we love about you. Well, listen, I've been talking with Joe Soucheray, a prize-winning columnist and broadcaster. Hey, say, also, can you get me Tommy Mischke's number? He's another guy that I want to talk to, same like you, St. Paul guy, probably from Phoenix prior, and we'll all talk about the old days in St. Paul, or the glory days.
Right.
Where can people find you if they want to look up more of your stuff?
Well, the St. Paul Pioneer Press newspaper and the and radio station 1500 ESPN, Carl.
That's wonderful. People listen to this program all across the country, and they don't know anything about it. So maybe we'll sell you some books or something there.
That's right.
Okay.
You can do that, sure.
Well, toodaloo, Joe. Appreciate all your time.
Well, good luck, Carl. Thank you. Good luck with your podcast.